Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Boss Babe Brews. I'm Valerie.
I'm Marlena, and before you start watching, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel.
Why do you have to do it like all sexy? This week in the cafe was amazing. We didn't have much staff as we normally do because they were at
Barefoot. So it was super hot this week, so the air condition has been on. So thanks for hanging out with us in here. It was so fun. Everybody's getting their nice cool drinks. Some lemonade that we now offer.
Yeah, we have a lemonade flight now, which is cool.
But
and
yeah.
We always have our coffee flight as well, too.
And speaking of Barefoot, we have somebody very exciting on the podcast today that was at Barefoot.
Very exciting.
She's basically so famous, too.
Yeah.
No.
You are our first celebrity. This is Nicole. Can you pronounce your last name for me?
Michalik, the C silent. No one gets it right. Except the Apple Store, which I always say, that's why you're called the Genius Bar. Because they know how to pronounce Michalik.
That's cool.
That's so funny.
Nicole is a radio personality with 92.5 XTU.
Yeah.
And when are you on, Nicole?
So I'm on Monday through Friday, 2 to 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. All right,
So
sweet.
I live in the city and love you girls so much and what you're doing that I drove all the way over. But wait,
so
I
excited.
had it, we got to get off at the exit at Mullica Hill.
Yes.
Because this is considered Swedesboro, right?
Yes.
But what growing up, so I'm from near the Poconos, we always would go to Ocean City and we would go like 55 and in Mullica Hill's the Harrison House. And like,
Yes.
that brings me so much memories of we would stop there to like eat something quick and use the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, it's
So
delicious
childhood
there.
memories.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming. That's for
of
sure.
course. I'm so excited.
Yeah, first celebrity.
This is exciting.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here with you guys.
thank you. All right, Nicole, what do you think keeps you different than other women in your field on social media?
Ooh, I love that. I think it's the fact of being authentic. And I think that with authenticity comes a bit of feeling confident. And even when you're not confident, knowing that being authentic is going to help.
I agree.
And I think, we kind of talked a little bit off mic about, how you feel about yourself physically and emotionally and mentally. And like women have had it really difficult, right?
100%.
So when you think about the fact that like for decades and decades and even centuries, like women have been told to hate themselves.
Absolutely.
It's just the reality of it. Like when you think about like the beauty industry, the weight loss industry, like women literally have been told that like you're not good enough and you need to spend money to be good enough. Like when you really think about it, the fact that women have not burned it all down yet is a goddamn miracle.
Really,
So funny.
I hear you.
Like when you really take time to think about it, right? And I think because women have been told to hate themselves, and a lot of women, because we're getting out of a catty phase, which is good. But a lot of women for a long time were really hateful to one another, but it's only because you were told to hate yourself, right?
I agree.
You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not curvy enough. You're not blonde enough. You're not brown enough. Your eyelashes are too short. You need brown eyes. You need blue eyes. You need thick thighs, but skinny. It's insane.
Crazy. It is.
Yeah.
Right. And so I have been very, very, very fortunate that, I grew up with incredible parents and they constantly showered me with like love and affection.
Yeah.
The way it should be.
The way
agree.
it should be. Yeah. And like constantly told me that they were proud of me and then I could do whatever I wanted. And I always say that like, I feel like the best thing that they did was encourage my dreams. So they supported me as long as it was a positive decision, which gave me the confidence to keep making positive decisions and keep following my dreams. And I think the hard part about social media and even living in the time that we're now, I mean, we're halfway through 2025, right? It's almost 2026, which is insane when you try
That's crazy.
Things move so fast. And I think with social media, bringing it back to your initial question, is like you have to stay up on how fast things move, right?
Sure.
And so I feel like being authentic and being yourself, and we're going to do a quote at the end, but which I'm going to save. But one of my favorite things to say, and I think it's really important, that there's over 7 billion people in the world. And there is only one of us with our genetic makeup.
That's right.
Oh, I like that.
One of us in the entire universe. There's only one of you, one of me, one. When you think about how powerful that is and the potential that you have, like, why would you want to be a second, third, fourth, 12th rate version of someone else when you could be your own version of you and there's only one? And when you remember that, it becomes very powerful.
Right. For me, it's hard. I've definitely always been my authentic self. That's for sure. With 9 years now, I've always done crazy videos and stuff like that. But over the years, those who have followed me from the beginning, I've lost a lot of weight. And in my mind, I still have a hard time walking into Victoria's Secrets or into certain stores. I feel like I still don't belong. I still feel like I'm almost that 300-pound girl.
Isn't there a word for it, like body dysmorphia or something?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I still, so every day I feel like I have like today I had this shirt on. I had a couple of people, Mike, this shirt's for you too. He had said my breasts look like cow udders. So I wore an extra low for you today, baby. So like, I still have like a heart. I'm like, oh my God, you just got done making fun of me. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
Right.
I'm like, I look beautiful. Thank you for the help this morning, like mentally. But I still have a hard time. Like every day I still feel like I'm like that fat girl. So I think that I read a lot of quotes and stuff like that. I still need to work on that. But with my kids, I'm so encouraging. Like with Marlena, like if she ever said that to me, like I'd want to like strangle her. I'm like, you're perfect.
Right. But let me tell you something. One of my favorite Oprah episodes of all time. And I do believe
Oprah.
I had one of my mentors, shout out to Dennis Clark. He had said to me a couple years ago, one of the problems that he feels that America has is that there's no one like Oprah to help educate people, that she really did a great job. Because everybody came together at 4:00, right? Yep. Now everybody's so divided, right?
I loved Oprah.
One of the episodes that stuck with me so fervently, like I probably still think about it like once a week, was an episode, and she had a psychiatrist on named Dr. Robin, who weirdly enough is from Philly.
Oh, wow.
And they talked about, there was these 3 women, okay, who were having issues with their daughters, right? So the one daughter was 17 and was depressed, hated how she looked. The one little girl was only 3, wouldn't leave the house without makeup. The one little girl was 4 and would like ration her food at daycare.
Wow.
And come to find out that the one mom was recovering from an eating disorder. The other mom suffered from depression and like would tell her daughter she's beautiful, but would hate on herself.
And that reflects
onto
your
Dr.
kids.
Robin said is that you bore your wounds through the womb.
I agree.
And that it's how you treat yourself that what your children and that they see. And it's like, you could tell your kids all you want that they're wonderful, but if you yourself don't believe, your children know that they're a part of you. And listen, it is hard with mothers and daughters, right? Especially in the social media world. But I feel that episode stuck to me so strongly because it's very true. And, you know, and kind of going back to what you're saying about, obviously, like, you know, I've never been a thin person. I've had my own weight loss journey. I was, you know, the highest I ever was 308 pounds. I was on The Biggest Loser. I don't know if you knew that, but I was on season 4 of The Biggest Loser. Yeah.
Oh shit, that's neat. I want to watch it. Can I YouTube it, I wonder?
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube, season 4.
Wow.
That's a whole other episode.
Oh my God, that's
But
cool.
I also think it's important, like the fact that people still think the word fat is bad. And that's a horrible thing that we've been conditioned to. Do you know what I mean? Like fat is not bad. It's just it's just a thing.
Right.
And, you know, and don't get me wrong, like it's about health, right? And so I go to this kick-ass doctor at Jefferson. Shout out to Dr. Raquel. She's part of the Women's Integrative Center. I have hypothyroid, right? And she speaks all over the world, but she talks a lot about body diversity.
Okay.
Body diversity is real, right? So it's how somebody's tall or short or curvy or long and lean. We should be obsessed with health and not weight. But because our society has deemed fat to be bad, and it's kind of like what you said, where these men go online and they'll be like, well, you're fat. And it's like, that's how low intelligence that you are.
That's exactly what
it's just kind of like the stigma around the word, because so many words, like they kind of take on a life of their own, certain words, because you hear a name and then you immediately think negatively about that name. It's almost like a propaganda.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
It happens. Like you could even use it when people are like, oh my God, that's so gay. And it's like, shout out to it's the end of Pride Month, right?
It also means happy.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
And it's like, why are you using that as a negative term? And again, it is changing. And people always want to talk about social media can be negative in a lot of ways. And don't get me wrong, it can be.
Sure.
But the power of social media is that it gives everybody a voice.
Right.
So things that we may have not have known 10, 15 years ago, we do know now because of social media. And it gives somebody a voice. It gives somebody a sense of community.
Right.
There's somebody in Mississippi who is gay and needs an outlet. You know what I mean? So like
100%.
That I think is the beauty of it too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
All right, so before we continue, I just have like a silly little like because you were at Barefoot.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Hardy before?
I have met Hardy. Wait, you love him?
Oh my God, I do.
Yeah.
His music's
Do you know that
awesome.
he's from Philadelphia, but it's Philadelphia, Mississippi? Yeah,
I
isn't
did
that
not
fun?
know that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know any other places had a place called
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
and you know that Hardy writes the majority of More
Yes.
Alone. Like,
Yes.
and
And
he
that
just
blows
wrote the
my
new
mind.
Ella Langley song. Like, he's so talented, such a talented songwriter.
I think he's one of the best songwriters. I was literally talking about this in the car the other
Yeah.
day, and I was like, people just don't know that he's behind a lot of the big hits right now.
Yeah, and he's a great performer too. I mean, he has definitely more of a rock edge, and it's
Yes.
interesting when country's been in an interesting space. So I worked in radio for majority of my career. I mean, I started as an intern, and for majority of my career, I worked at Q102. I was Nick the Web Chick on
Oh my
Q102.
God, look at that.
Yeah.
I remember still listen to Q1. It's still on, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
But
still there.
it's switched. I remember Q102.
It's I mean, it's still top 40,
Elvis
but I
and
can't-
Duran, I think now.
that's in the morning show. Yeah. But I came to XTU in 2019
sure.
and like didn't ever really listen to country music.
Yeah.
You know, I knew Luke Bryan, I knew Thomas Rhett, but like I didn't know Hardy. I've never heard
Yeah.
of Dustin Lynch before, right? So it's like those artists, and it's just been so fun. But like for country for a long time, it was like cute white blonde boys with guitars who love Jesus and their wives, right? And it was like this whole idea of like I have to be perfect, I have to look perfect, I have to sound perfect, I have to sound the same. And in the last 5 years, it's really become kind of what we were talking about, more authentic.
Yes.
Definitely.
Because, and that's why Jelly Roll has been so popular and why Jelly Roll has reached out, because people struggle. Mental health is real. Addiction is real. People, you know, they are, and I think that in that space, like country, even 7 years ago, they would never have a guy with face tattoos. Now there's two of them. You know what I mean? Now Post Malone has come over. So I think that authenticity people crave it so much now, because I think for the longest time, and again, in the space, talking about women have always been able to kind of band together and talk about, I don't like how I look, or I don't like how I feel, or this is bothering me. Men have those emotions. They were just never allowed to talk about it.
100%.
Why men tend to be mean, because they should be crying. They should be saying, I'm sad about something happened when I was a child, but I was never allowed to be sad. So now I'm just going to be mean to everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I
so
agree
like,
with that.
I think Jelly Roll is allowing people, and I think Hardy with his music, they're allowing that conversation about mental health.
Yes.
And even Hardy, like he
Love that.
came out and talked about the bus accident and how he basically had like severe panic attacks and his
I didn't
mental
hear
health was
that.
struggling. Yeah, he was very open and honest about it.
Oh, wow.
Luke Combs has been really honest about it. That matters.
I like that. And
Absolutely.
it's more authentic, so it makes it more relatable for more men, and then more men can open up now.
Yeah.
Like if a guy cries, it's like, oh, you're not manly. But everybody cries.
Oh, yeah.
Guys,
100%.
everybody.
And to be honest, the more emotionally intelligent you are, the more all around better of a human, man,
Yes, I
woman
agree.
you are. You know, intelligence comes in all different forms. And I think that that's so important. And, you know, the thing about music is that it brings people together. Sometimes people don't know how they feel, and then they hear a song, they're like, wait, this
It
is
can
how
relate.
I feel,
Yeah.
you know? So I think the fact that he's such a prolific songwriter and he's
Right.
been able, and that happens a lot in country where you have these songwriters who write these really big songs, and then they cross over and then they're like, well, I really wanted to be an artist.
Right,
and
right.
sometimes one of my favorite things about working in entertainment is the it factor. Like sometimes you can't put your finger on what, like I always joke with Luke Combs looked like he should work at Pep Boys, but he walks on stage and like you can't
Yes,
take your
I
eyes off of
agree.
him.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
He's a good entertainer.
it's same thing with Post Malone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it is, you can't take your eyes off of him.
Oh, yeah.
It's that thing that you can't, and I love
Yes.
that. And Hardy
love
has
Post
both,
Malone.
you know,
Yes.
which is
I like how his music took on a voice of its own through his voice.
Yeah.
Because originally it was just the songwriting.
I like how edgy he is. I like the rock
well,
that he
obviously
throws in
you
there.
guys
Oh, yeah.
had come up with like
Yeah.
rocker vibes. which
I
is
like
cool.
that.
Yeah,
I love his
I love
wife.
him.
I think she's so beautiful. I always follow her.
Yeah,
I know.
Marlene always talks about his wife. Yeah,
I love that.
Yep. No, I love it when country music any kind of music you can relate to. I'm not going to get into my childhood, but I had a rough and traumatic childhood. And like I said, when I hear some music, man, if I'm out like walking at night or something like that, I'm like, oh my God, this song just really hits home.
It can be an
So-
outlet for somebody to go
Yeah,
to, or a
Absolutely.
source
Oh,
of
yeah.
comfort.
And then I'll listen to the same song over and over and over again. That could be my ADHD too. But like I said, but I love when you can definitely relate to a song. So I love Post Malone. I love Hardy. Like I said, I really just started listening to him. In fact, getting ready this morning, I was jamming to him and with my Alexa in the bedroom. Like I said, I really like it. So
Yeah. Well, and you know, I think too, in regards to music, like that's why art is so important, right? Where it allows people to express themselves in a way. And it's
Absolutely.
like, whether it's music or like even, I mean, what you guys have done in your shop, it's
Right.
art. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I feel
Yeah.
that like something that is able to evoke a feeling is a very powerful thing.
Oh yeah. I have a lot always going. That's everything I created here was out of my head. I had a guy come in probably about a month ago, 2 guys, they were not locals or anything like that. And he walked in, he goes, he didn't know I was the owner. And he walked up to the register and he's like, can you like explain what's going on in here? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I kind of like don't get it. I said, honestly, it's everything that was in my head and it just fucking exploded into my cafe. I'm like, that's what it is. It's everything inside my head that I just put. And he goes, oh, okay. I understand it now. I'm like, do you really? But okay.
But you're like, but it's art. And when you walk in here, like, wow. And it's like your eyes go everywhere and it's so visually beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I like it in here. I definitely like the cafe. And then we also do it in our drinks. I mean, our creativity, my daughter and I would come up with a lot of our drinks and stuff like that. I
have banana for the first time ever. It's delicious.
It's good.
I like
banana. I know, it's so good.
Banana's good.
So you're clearly a boss babe yourself. I feel like just meeting you when we first came in here in person, it was so fun talking to you. I feel like you just radiate confidence and authenticity.
Thank you.
And it was just so nice talking to you because you just seem like is outspoken, like a good word, like an outspoken. I just loved it. You just give that confidence and everything.
Yes.
Is there any boss babe that you've looked up to throughout your career or your social media journey for inspiration?
So I would say that, maybe there hasn't been one person in particular. I will say that when I think of a boss babe, I think of my Grammy, who I was only 14 when she passed away, but we were super close. And she was such a boss babe. When she was in her 50s, she ended up running for political office.
Oh, good for her.
And she didn't drive. Like, I'm from near the Poconos, like the smallest town ever, right? And she went back to work, when my mom and my aunt were older. And she wanted to run for office in Jim Thorpe and the Clerk of Courts.
Jim Thorpe.
She's so cool. I love her. I don't even know her. I love her.
She was so badass. And she was from New York. And so she was like, I always say that like my fashion sense is from her. And like I have a lot of like her fun, funky jewelry that she had. Like she was just
so sweet.
She was a boss babe before that was even a thing. Just like I say, my dad, who I lost, it's crazy. It'll be 2 years in 20. That's a whole thing about like, I could write a book on my dad. Like he was just amazing. But I always say he was a girl dad before that was even a thing, right?
Yeah.
But my Grammy, so she was just like, she would like rock the fur coat and like the fun, clip-on earrings. But she decided when she was 55 years old, she was going to run for office. And she made picks, like hair picks that were pink. And she made little combs. Like she was just different.
I follow your Instagram. You look good on your Instagram.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
you look good on all your posts.
And she just had that inner confidence. And she would always say to my mom and my aunt, like, and again, like she adored my grandfather. They were married for over 50 years, but she's like, don't ever rely on a man, like get an education, know your finances.
That's
I
right.
mean, and this was back in the day, know, and that's how my mom and my aunt were, I always say that like, I always joke that like everybody has issues, but my issues are the fact that my parents still loved each other. And like they, and because they just had such a good partnership.
Yeah.
And so I think that my Grammy, and don't get me wrong, like my Nana, my dad's mom, she was awesome too, but she was different in that more like she was so sweet and loving. Where like my Grammy was like, no, you're going to like.
Independent woman.
Tougher. Yeah. She was tougher and she was just like, I'm going to do something different that no one else is. And I think that that's what it is like, taking the time in your soul. When I meet somebody that's like an intern or like somebody comes job shadows me, I go, what's your dream job? And they'll be like, well, I go, no, what, like, what that is.
I agree.
And I say, when the genie comes down from the sky and says, what is it? And like, and then people will be like, well, actually, like I want to. And I go, no, don't hesitate. Like if that's what you want. And so I love the fact that like, and I also think it's important for women that like age is just a number, and men too in general. But
100%.
I think for a lot of times for women, I had this woman call me the other day and she was just like, oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm elderly. And I go, wait, I'm like,
I hate
how
that word.
old are you? And she was like 55. And I like yelled at her.
Yeah.
I was like, what? But it goes back to like being insecure, like not feeling good about yourself. And I was just like, what are you talking about? I'm
like good with my age. I'm not going to give away my age, but I still think I'm in my 30s. And I really think that helps keep me going like all the time. It really does.
My mom and her friends are in the early 70s. It was really funny. One of my mom's best friends, they've been best friends since high school. there was like at the church, they had like something for senior citizens. And she was just like, oh, that's nice. They're doing that for like, you know, older people. And her son was like, mom, like you're 73. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm
That's
50.
so funny.
That's right. But it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
And so when you talk about boss babes that I've looked up to, like my mom, my Aunt Janet, my Grammy, like I've had really strong women.
Yeah.
My mom's that way too.
Yeah. Who
she
have
keeps
just
me grounded.
been different and authentic and like, you could do whatever you want. And not only my dad, but like my Uncle John and even my grandpa, like I had really strong, wonderful men too.
That's
that had
You're
support.
lucky.
Oh, I mean,
very lucky.
And that's
that
something
I didn't have.
Yeah. And that's something that I also believe, kind of going back to what we talked about being authentic and how you were saying like using my voice. And I think it's so important to use my voice to talk about not only being a strong woman, but like, if there's men that are listening and watching, like be a strong, wonderful. My dad never was one of the strongest people. I mean, he battled Parkinson's for almost 30 years and like never complained and like protected us but also was never afraid to cry. And do you know what I mean? Like, so I try to use my voice to say, hey, be you, be it authentically you. But if you're a man, like, don't be a dick.
Yeah. I agree. Oh yeah.
Women too, don't be mean.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because you talk about the age thing, I'm like, all right, so then you're older, I look up to you, but what age am I like officially grown up? Because people say stuff to me and be like, you don't even know what you're talking about yet. You're so young. You don't even know what love is yet. You don't even have any reason, like, you don't have any excuse to complain. You're still a baby. You still have time. I'm like, all right, well, when am I going to be a part of?
Never in my eyes. I still see you
I'm
in
like,
a diaper.
when am I going to be like independent, or when can I start making my own decisions and not be like, well, you're kind of young. You don't know what you're talking about yet. Like,
but a lot of times,
I'm still learning too.
There's a really great book called The 4 Agreements. And one of the agreements is don't take anything personal. And so a lot of times when people are negative or they say something or they act a certain way, 99% of the time it's their own insecurities that they project onto you. So that's where it's really hard to be like, I know myself and I know that I'm mature enough to handle this. So like the reason you're saying this is because you don't feel confident.
I agree. And I tell her that all the time.
And
They're insecure with themselves.
Yeah.
I think I'm mature. Like I have good opinions. You know what I mean? I have good judgment. I can take care of myself, and people are like, no, you're still young. You don't know yet. And my mom has always taught me too, since I was little, never rely on a man. But then other people are like, oh, well, one day you'll get a guy and he'll help you. I'm like, well, maybe I want to do it myself. Right. Maybe I don't need that.
And I always call myself a hopeful romantic because I really do believe in love. I just think it's rare.
Me too.
And I think
agree.
that a lot of times people end up settling, you know what I mean? And I just refuse to settle. Like I was like, I know what love looks like, and it should make you feel better. I am very, very, very blessed. I am single. Would I love to find a partner? But I want somebody, my life is fucking awesome. So
Good for
I
you.
want somebody who's going to make it better.
And you said your parents were in love, so you grew up watching love. You know it exists, and you know it's out there.
And so I'm like, I want somebody who's going to make my life better, who's going to bring it even to another level.
Support you on all levels that you are and that
me
you do.
The same
awesome.
for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And kind of back to what you were saying though about like I do feel that you always can learn and grow. So you never reach a certain age where you can't learn and grow. And one of my favorite things to do, if like there's anything serious to talk about on the air, I always say the beauty of being a human is that you could learn something new every second of every day and never reach capacity. And you could also love something new every second of every day and never reach capacity. So
That's
it's
great.
like,
right.
doesn't matter if you're 75, you could still learn something new.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I think that that's really powerful too.
I agree. That's going to go into my next question. You had mentioned a little bit on that. It says, do you have any dreams or goals you're currently working towards?
You know, I kind of one of those people that I'm always just like open, right? Like I'm open to new experiences, new things. Like when Sarah was like, do you want to do this? I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, when I was a little kid, I always was obsessed with living in the city, if people look, what's your dream job? I want to have my own talk show. Now I always thought of like Oprah, but like I basically do have a talk show. It's what I do every day, right?
Yeah.
Like I do on my Instagram, I do coffee under the covers, this like funny thing every morning.
Cute.
So yeah, like would I love to have my own TV talk show? Absolutely. Would I love to have a syndicated radio show? Yes. Would I love to have a really successful podcast where we do more in-depth things like, kind of what you're talking about. So I'm always just open to new experiences and meeting new things. And I think that that's kind of important. So I love what I'm able to do. Like I joke because for as like silly and funny as I am, I'm really deep, what are your signs? What's your sign?
Pisces.
Okay. What are you?
Scorpio.
Oh, what an interesting
Yeah.
Pisces and Scorpio. So I'm a Leo, go figure. but I'm a Virgo rising and a Pisces moon, which is kind of funny because of the opposite. But if you know me, like I'm very like, hi, I'm a Leo. But then I'm also very Pisces where it's like music and whimsical. But then I'm also a realist, like a Virgo, right?
Okay, all right.
So that's kind of how I am in terms of like, I kind of just like go with it and like see what happens.
Yeah. And that's inspiring too, being open and vulnerable to new things and always trying different things.
And then I also think that like the funny thing is like I love to talk about like deep, meaningful things, but sometimes it gets overwhelming for me. So I'm like, and here's tickets to Thomas Rhett. Like, that's why like I love being able to be on the air every day because it is. Sometimes I need something that's fun and surfacey because if I really go down the black hole rabbit hole of like what are we? We're moon dust. How do we change the world? Sometimes it gets overwhelming. Why am I not a billionaire who could change the world?
Word. Yeah, why
I love
not?
that.
I mean, how about for you? What are your dreams and goals?
Mine's more like on the basic side. I just always have dreamt of being a mom and having a family and finding love. That's all I want. I know it sounds not inspiring or anything, but it's just always what I've wanted. Like almost like the American dream. Yeah. Just to settle down, be happy.
Well, you need people that want to be moms because you need humanity to continue. I also think it's important to say if you don't want to have kids, that's cool too.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think that there are women who like really have that drive to like, I want to be a doctor and like I want to be a scientist and I want to do all this stuff. And then I think that there are women who is like, I truly like want to be a mom and nurture that.
That's me.
Yeah. And I think that it's important. Like I consider myself such a feminist that like you need to feel. Shout out to Becky West, one of my old managers she was obsessed with her job, loved to work, was obsessed with her husband, had 2 great kids. And I was like, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? And and she's like in her 70s now. And her advice was, I love to work. Work fulfilled me.
I love to work.
And she said, her advice was always, you have to be a happy woman to be a happy wife, to be a happy mother. And she said her neighbor loved being a stay-at-home mom. She loved cooking. She loved making crafts. And Becky's like, I hated that. So she would like, I'll get you concert tickets if you make me brownies. And I think that that's when I have these platforms to talk about, I always think about that because there are women who like, I want to stay at home and I want to, just be a homemaker. And that's I was with my niece, she's 3 for the past 2 days. And I'm like, whoa, this is, I mean, I could eat her. She's so cute, but it's a lot of work.
It is a lot.
I feel like I was just raised on that old fashioned mindset. And that's kind of something I've always wanted was just to be happy, be in love and have a baby.
Yeah, I was always
and take care. And I love like fashion stuff, so like designing. You know what I mean? Like that's all kind of into it.
And I think that the opportunities are endless, right? So it's like you always never limit what else you can do.
I just like supporting my mom's dreams. I feel like she was always so supportive of me when I was little. So I was like, it's my turn.
There are dreams. There are dreams. I mean, of course, I want to be famous. That's my thing. I love my cafe, but I eventually would like not have to be here 7 days a week. I definitely am a workaholic. I've always been on a farm my whole life. I don't know how to relax. Some people are like, oh, today's your day off, relax. I'm like, what the fuck is relaxing? I don't know how to relax.
You have to have Aries in your chart.
I just don't relax, but I'm hyper and I like to keep going. That's for sure.
So wait, what did you farm?
We farm, we're considered a big grain farmer. So when I was young, I grew up on a beef cattle farm.
Wow.
And then I married my husband and we're considered big grain farmers. So it's wheat, soybean, corn, stuff like that. So it never ends. So I had done that for a while.
And you ride the tractor.
I did everything. Oh yeah. Combines. Like I said, I started driving tractor when I was 9 on my dad's farm.
Wow. You are like a country song.
Oh yeah. I was definitely a country gal. That's for sure.
Feeding America.
But you grew up here.
I grew up right here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right here in Jersey. So Salem County and my cafe is in Gloucester. Yeah. But like I said, I love it. It's just a lot of work. I just have a whole different, just my goal. Like I said, I kind of want to get away from that. I love the farm. I love my animals, but I would love to travel and meet people and talk to people, meet famous people, regular people. Like I said, I would really love to do that. So as much as I love my cafe, I still have, a few more years here. And then after that, I don't quite know what I want to do. I mean, I know what I want to do, but I don't know which way I'm going with the cafe, I should say. So I'm still undecided with that.
But that's like a beauty of being able to do something different and change. Right. And wait, who are the 2 women that you've looked up to who are boss babes?
Well, I love my mom, definitely my mom. Marlena, even though she's young, just kidding. She's young, but she still keeps me grounded like every day. My mom does. My mom's more, she'll kind of like make me think a little bit more. Marlena's like, okay, let's do it, But Marlena definitely keeps me grounded. Or a lot of times if I get upset about something on social media, she's like, Marlena doesn't cuss, but essentially she's like, fuck them. You know, you keep doing you. So definitely Marlena. And I also love me some Martha Stewart.
Nice.
I do. I love Martha Stewart. I love how, for people that know my story, we were completely ignorant men just tried to tear us completely down with our business when we were in Salem County, and we just rose up again. And I actually need to thank you for what you did to me, because look at me now, baby.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the hate sometimes that just, when people just, the negativity and my haters and stuff like that, it just drives me to be better, to keep me going. I mean, y'all keep me in business, so thank you. I mean, that's for sure. That's for sure.
So my thought of the day is a girl who is going to do big things cannot let small things get to her.
Huge. Yeah. And a lot of times it's never about you. It's always about them.
Right.
Yes.
And, it's
100%.
like.
And projecting insecurities onto other people and trying to make other people feel down.
Right.
Mine is, has really nothing to do with this, a little bit. Do skincare, smell nice, make money, be nice to people, mind your business, and drink water.
Yes. And delicious coffee.
All the essentials.
I love that. So one of my favorite quotes, probably my favorite quote, and I heard it a long time ago, but I don't really hear it a lot. So I try to say it as much as I can.
Yeah.
But it goes like this. It says, I'm beyond your peripheral vision, so you might want to turn your head.
Love that.
And
like
it basically means like, I'm not the norm.
Right.
I'm different.
I love it.
I'm different. I'm me. I'm authentic. Like, turn your head, because
Me too.
that's where amazingness lives.
Amen.
That's so amazing.
100%. Amen. I've always been different. People a couple of times have said I'm eccentric or whatever. I'm me.
But you're me, right?
That's
There's
what it
only one
is.
of you in the entire universe.
100%. Oh
you
yeah,
know?
100%.
I feel like that brings it all back together. That's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you
fun.
so much.
Thank you
You're
so
amazing.
much.
And I can't wait to come on your talk show.
Yes.
I
It's
love
gonna
it.
be great.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
Love it.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. We're also on Amazon Music now, I believe. We're also on Spotify, and you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as Hen's Honey Shop.
This has been Boss Babe Brews, hosted by Valerie and Marlena Robinson, recorded at Hens and Honey Shop in Swedesboro, New Jersey, and produced by Breakdown Media. Follow Hens and Honey on Instagram and TikTok for more, and make sure you subscribe to get new episodes every Friday.